you so much, everyone, for staying with us. I'm now being joined by Mr. Debo Ologunagba, the spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Thank you so much, Mr. Ologunagba, for joining us.
Thank you very much, Shil. Nice
You've shifted, yeah, this will be the second time you'll be shifting the date for your NEC meeting.
Correct.
When are you having it now?
11th of May.
What was the reason for the shift? The latest one?
Our party is a party of processes. And we're very conscious of the timelines and the processes that we need to go through. We rely on our rules and regulations, and that must be in tandem with the schedule of activities and guidelines by INEC. So as we proceed in the process, what we do is to ensure that we review all our processes and ensure that while respecting our processes and ensuring that every aspirant has a free environment to operate. So that's the basis, basically, why we shifted it to the 11th of May.
You know why this is causing a stir? Is because that NEC meeting's main agenda is to discuss zoning. Is that still remains? Does that still remain the agenda?
Well, Shewan, I'm excited each time I'm before you, because you create information that probably I don't have. You seem to know what the agenda will be. I can tell you that could be one of the many agendas that we have. But there are several issues that will be involved, that will be discussed at the NEC. You recall that we'll be going for national convention. Mm-hmm. There are approval to be given. There'll be constitution of committees. These are all NEC issues. The zoning could be one of the several issues that we discuss.
Or one of the main issues.
Well, that you categorize it as main. But I'm telling you,
it's very fundamental for your party right now, is it? And I'd like us to touch on it.
Absolutely.
There was a protest at your office today.
Correct.
People saying, zone the presidency to the south. Is your party thinking in that direction?
Well, I think we need to step back a moment. When you say there's a protest, people are entitled to air their views.
Nobody said it was a crime. I said there was a protest.
Absolutely.
The people were not agitating. It wasn't a crime. It's a legitimate
absolutely
right as members or non-members of your party to go to the street and protest on what they don't really agree on.
No, I don't think, if you call it a protest, it means something unusual is happening. What we're saying, they're making a demand, and they're entitled to do that. It's a constitutional right to say, look, this is what we expect, and we hope to.
It's a matter of semantics, Mr. Ologunagba.
Absolutely.
Whether you call it a protest or they go on the street for demands, protest is that people are on the streets and they are demanding something.
No.
Isn't that the English meaning for us?
Well, absolutely. Well, I'm here to learn. I learn that every day from you. I know you're good at that. Only last night, the Supreme Court of the United States, there was a leakage of the possible opinion on Roe and Wade. And people came in to speak that, hey, this is our view on it. If some people clarify it as protest, people say, well, they are expressing their views. So for me, I would say people are expressing their views. Protest has the connotation of something negative.
No, but I mean, the words have connotative meanings, but I mean, it doesn't mean that it is wrong most of the times. But there was a protest, that's the fact. Yeah. And the question is, the fact is, what is your party doing about that demand?
Okay,
it's growing stronger by the day.
I come back again to the issues. The PDP is the only organic party in Nigeria today. And what does that mean? It is a party based on processes, it has its rules, it has its regulations, has its constitution. Above all, that respect the Constitution of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. In that, you know that Nigeria has a provision in the Constitution that talks about federal character. What does it mean as a party? We're conscious of the fact that Nigeria is comprised of several people. And again, that's reflected in our name. We describe ourselves as People's Democratic Party, which, under that, it presupposes that there are conflicting or probably different opinions on issues. We recognize that. And what do we do as a party? We try to accommodate that by conversation, by discussion, stakeholders meeting. Because we're a party that is organic, that has the processes, because of the demand and the consideration for that, we set up a 37-member committee to consider the issue of zoning or otherwise. The report has been submitted to the NWC, the National Working Committee. because it was a committee set up by the NEC, a report will be presented before the NEC at the next NEC meeting. And at that moment, the party will take a decision. So for me, it would be wrong for me to preempt what the outcome may be.
Are the leaders of your party under any pressure? Because this pressure is mounting by the day.
Well, I don't know what you mean by pressure.
Because you are probably one of the only parties in Nigeria that have it enshrined in your constitution on the issue of rotation of power.
Again, I mean...
And so in that sense, is a moral, not only a moral burden, is a legal burden that is now binding on your party to consider what you have captured in your own laws.
Again, I want to step back so I can explain this to Nigerians and particularly you. Now, this platform is very important to have this conversation. I just referenced the fact that the PDP is a party of rules and regulation. We respect our constitution. But our constitution is subject to Nigerian constitution. Now, as a party, we discuss, we have negotiation, we reach out. And you recall in our national convention, positions were zoned. You should recall that. However, the party cannot take away anybody's rights to contest because the constitutional right that is guaranteeing the constitution that
But what was a moment where the national chairman of your party, Senator Yocha, was quoted to have said that should there be another presidential candidate, he would step down.
Well, my point is that...
Did you see? Did you get that? Did you hear him say it?
Well, you are telling me that if Dr. Ayu says that, there may be other constitution, but that's not because of the constitution. I'm saying this. We have set up a committee. The committee has sent in a report. The report is going to be considered by the National Executive Committee.
On the 11th.
On the 11th. And then it will be premature for me to begin to speak to what may or may not happen. I don't think it will be right for us to imagine that we're under pressure. No, we're following our processes. And the process would come out, and the outcome will be conveyed to Nigeria.
All right.
One way or the other.
Let me ask you this direct question. For those who believe that there are two schools of thought on this issue of zoning in your party. One is that let us get a strong candidate and win an election first, and we'll talk about the zoning later. Some people say, for fairness and equity, let's talk about zoning. Let's do zoning. Then we'll talk about the other issues. We'll win election anyways. What's your own view on that?
Well, my view is the view that our party has a process, and we're respecting the process. I would not be engaging in semantics, like you used earlier, or preempting what may or may not happen. Whatever comes out on the 11th, Nigerians will be told, will be informed about what we need to do. And as a party, I think we shouldn't lose touch about this idea of where we are as a nation. I think that's more stressful to me.
There's this point. I know you're trying to be very political tonight, Mr. Ologunagba. Very unlike you, though, because I know it's a very touchy issue of that zoning, and I know sometimes these issues, the pressure is so much. But on the final note, if you can do this for me in 20 seconds, how are you handling the crisis over the conduct of Congress?
Again, we had an emergency NWC meeting today. Those issues are brought. But again, like I said, we don't sidestep ourselves. We have a process. When you conduct congresses, there's an appeal process that's available. When the appeals are considered, then we consider the appeal and we take a decision as they come. I can't preempt based on reports, either on social media or somebody...
It's not social media. These are real issues. From Imo to Anambra, there are real issues that have come out.
There are complaints.
People agitating.
Yes, there are complaints, and those complaints...
you have to reconduct it again.
You remember it happened...
There were no result sheets and all of that.
You remember in Ekiti State, we had a Congress, 3-man ad hoc. It came before the NWC on appeal. We considered all the issues, and we came to a conclusion that there was merit in those complaints, and we cancelled.
Thank you so much.
That is the way we proceed in our issues.
I wish your party the very best.
Thank you very much.
It's not the easiest time. I mean, an electionary and administration of political parties. Thank you so much, Mr. Debo Ologunagba, the spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party. You need to find time to come talk to us more about some of the ongoings in your party after the next meeting.
I thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to that because it's important for us to inform Nigerians so that we don't go with misconceptions about what we do and what we don't do. We're a party that is ready to help Nigeria, to move Nigeria to the next and unify us as a nation, because that's what we need right now.
That's how we do the cuttings on the program tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Wakimale. Bye for now.